The alarm bells rang through the bridge of the Soul's Pride like angry wasps. Captain Hyunwoo Park jumped from his chair and ran to the main screen. Red lights flashed everywhere, making the bridge look like it was on fire. "What's happening?" he asked his crew. Lieutenant Boram Lee pressed buttons on her control panel with fast fingers. "Captain, we're getting a distress call from Kepler 442b. It's the mining colony there. They say they're under attack." Captain Park felt his stomach drop. The mining colony had over 3,000 people living there. Families, children, workers, who just wanted to make a living digging valuable metals from the planet's rocks. "How far are we?" he asked. 2 hours at full speed, said Lee. "Then go full speed. Now." Dr. Yoonji Kim walked onto the bridge. She was the ship's expert on alien races and cultures. Her job was to help humans understand the strange ways that other species thought and acted. "Captain, I've been listening to the distress calls," she said. "The colonists say the attackers have strange ships they've never seen before." Captain Park nodded. "Any idea who they might be?" "Not yet, but the colonists are very scared. They keep talking about raiders with no mercy." The Soul's Pride was not a warship. It was built for talking, not fighting. Humans were known across the galaxy as the best peacemakers. Other alien races trusted them because humans could not lie easily. When a human said something, everyone believed it was true. This made humans very useful when different alien races had problems with each other. They would call for human help, and humans would listen to both sides and find a fair answer. It had been this way for over 100 years. 2 hours felt like 20. Finally, the ship arrived at Kepler 442b. What Captain Park saw on the main screen made him angry. Several strange black ships were flying around the planet like hungry sharks. Smoke was rising from the colony buildings below. "Captain, we're being contacted by coalition forces," said Lee. "Admiral Vexithera wants to talk." The main screen changed. A tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms appeared. High Chancellor Vexithera was the leader of the Hegemony Coalition, a group of alien races that controlled trade in this part of the galaxy. Humans had worked with them many times before. "Captain Park," Vexithera said in her strange voice. "Thank goodness you came. These Outer Rim pirates are worse than we thought." "Outer Rim pirates?" Captain Park asked. "You mean the independent territories?" "Yes. They attacked without warning. We think they want the valuable metals the colony digs up. Our forces are fighting them, but we need human help to coordinate the rescue." Dr. Kim stepped forward. "High Chancellor, may we see the evidence? As mediators, we need to understand the full situation." Another alien appeared on the screen. This one had gray skin and 6 eyes. "I am General Krathmore," he said. "We have recordings of the attack, very disturbing." The screen showed what looked like security camera footage. Small, fast ships with strange markings were shooting at colony buildings. People were running and screaming. The attackers wore masks, but their ships had symbols that Dr. Kim recognized as Outer Rim markings. "This is terrible," Captain Park said. "How many people are hurt?" 43 dead, over 100 missing, said Vexithera. "Captain, we need Earth Fleet to help us stop these pirates. If we don't act fast, they will attack more colonies." Captain Park felt sick. The Outer Rim territories were far from the main part of the galaxy. Most people there were independent miners, traders, and farmers who just wanted to be left alone. But if they were really attacking innocent colonies, something had to be done. "We'll need to contact Earth Command," he said. "This is bigger than what my one ship can handle." "Of course," said Vexithera, "but please hurry. We have reports that the pirates are planning more attacks. Thousands of innocent lives are at risk." The connection ended. Captain Park turned to his crew. "Boram, send a message to Admiral Tae-min Choi on Earth. Tell him what we found. Dr. Kim, I want you to study all the evidence the Coalition gave us." Dr. Kim nodded, but she looked worried. "Captain, something feels wrong about this." "What do you mean?" "I've studied the Outer Rim cultures for years. They're not violent people. Most of them are refugees who left their homeworlds to escape wars. Why would they suddenly start attacking colonies?" Captain Park thought about this. Dr. Kim was usually right about alien behavior. But the evidence seemed clear. The security footage showed Outer Rim ships attacking innocent people. Maybe some of them went bad, he said. It happens sometimes. When people get desperate, they do terrible things. Dr. Kim didn't look convinced, but she went to study the evidence anyway. Hours later, Admiral Taemin Choi's face appeared on the main screen. He was an old man with gray hair and serious eyes. He had been fighting in space for 40 years. "Captain Park," he said, "I've seen the Coalition's report. This is very serious. Earth Command is putting together a battle fleet. We haven't done anything this big in 20 years. "Admiral, are you sure this is necessary?" Captain Park asked. "Maybe we can still solve this with talking." "Captain, I know you prefer peaceful solutions. We all do. But sometimes talking isn't enough. These pirates killed innocent people. They have to be stopped." Captain Park knew the Admiral was right, but something still felt wrong. Humans prided themselves on being fair and honest. But what if they were making a mistake? "Sir, what if the evidence is wrong? What if we attack people who don't deserve it?" Admiral Choi's face became hard. "Captain, the Coalition has been our ally for decades. They've never lied to us. The evidence is clear. We have security footage, witness reports, everything we need. These pirates must be stopped before more innocent people die." The connection ended. Captain Park sat in his captain's chair and stared at the planet below. Smoke was still rising from the colony. People down there were hurt and scared. They needed help. But Dr. Kim was right. Something felt wrong about this whole situation. Lieutenant Lee suddenly turned from her station. "Captain, I'm picking up a strange transmission. It's very weak and it's in an old Earth language." "What language?" "Korean, sir." "And Captain, I think someone down there is asking for help." Captain Park's blood turned cold. Korean was his native language, but very few people in the galaxy spoke it anymore. Why would someone on an attacked colony be speaking Korean? "Put it through the speakers," he said quietly. A weak, crackling voice filled the bridge. "Please, if anyone can hear this, we are not the enemy. They lied about us. We are just trying to survive. Please don't let them destroy us too." The message repeated 3 times, then stopped. Captain Park stared at the main screen. The Coalition ships were still flying around the planet like guards. But now he wondered, who were they really guarding against? Captain Hyunwoo Park couldn't sleep that night. The Korean message played in his head over and over again. "We are not the enemy. They lied about us." He found Lieutenant Boram Lee in the ship's communication center at 3 a.m. She was staring at her screens with tired eyes. "Couldn't sleep either?" he asked. Lee shook her head. "Captain, I've been thinking about that message. I ran it through our language computers. The voice was speaking an old dialect of Korean. Very old. Like the kind people spoke 150 years ago." Captain Park sat down next to her. "That's impossible. No one speaks that old Korean anymore, except maybe in history books." "That's what I thought too. But Captain, do you remember the colony ship Arirang?" The name hit Captain Park like a punch. Every human in space knew about the Arirang. It was one of the first colony ships to leave Earth over 150 years ago. The ship had been filled with Korean families looking for a new home among the stars, but it had disappeared somewhere near the Outer Rim territories. No one ever found out what happened to it. "You think they survived?" he asked. "I think it's possible. The Arirang was a strong ship. If it crashed somewhere in the Outer Rim, some people might have lived. Their children and grandchildren would still speak the old language." Captain Park felt his heart beating fast. "Boram, we need to tell Dr. Kim about this." They found Dr. Yoonji Kim in her laboratory. She was studying the Coalition's evidence on her computer. When they told her about the Arirang theory, her face went white. "Captain, I've been finding problems with this evidence all night," she said. "Look at this security footage." She played the video of the attack on her screen. "See these ships? The Coalition says they're Outer Rim pirates, but look at the weapon signatures." She pointed to bright flashes of light coming from the attacking ships. "These are Coalition military weapons. I've seen them before in our database. Outer Rim people don't have weapons like this." "Maybe they stole them," Captain Park suggested. "Maybe. But look at this. She showed them another part of the video. See how the pirates move their ships? That's coalition military formation flying. Outer Rim people are mostly miners and farmers. They don't know how to fly in military formations. Lieutenant Lee leaned closer to the screen. Dr. Kim, what are you saying? I'm saying this evidence doesn't add up. I think someone is lying to us. Captain Park felt cold inside. Humans were known across the galaxy for always telling the truth, but they were also known for always believing others told the truth too. What if someone was using that against them? We need to investigate this ourselves, he said. But we have to be careful. If the coalition finds out we don't trust them, Captain, Dr. Kim said quietly. I accessed the coalition database last night. I found some deleted files. What kind of files? Mining reports, surveys of planets in the Outer Rim territories. These planets have more valuable metals than anywhere else in the galaxy, worth billions of credits. The pieces were starting to fit together like a horrible puzzle. Captain Park made a decision that would change everything. We're going to do a secret investigation. Bo-Ram, I want you to try to contact whoever sent that Korean message. Dr. Kim, keep studying the evidence. Look for anything that proves the coalition is lying. I'm going to take a small team and visit one of the Outer Rim territories. Captain, that's very dangerous, said Dr. Kim. If you're wrong, you could start a war. If I'm right, we might already be starting one for the wrong reasons. 2 days later, Captain Park took a small shuttle to a planet called Haven's Rest, in the Outer Rim territories. With him were Lieutenant Lee and 2 security officers. They told the coalition they were doing a routine patrol. Haven's Rest was a small planet with green forests and clean rivers. As their shuttle landed near a settlement, Captain Park saw something that made his breath stop. The buildings were built in traditional Korean style. Gardens with earth vegetables grew between the houses, and walking toward their shuttle was a woman in her 40s with kind eyes and black hair tied in a simple bun. Welcome to New Busan, she said in perfect Korean. I am Commander Jinny Yoon. Captain Park nearly fell over. You're Korean. My great-grandmother was on the Arirang, Commander Yoon said. We've been waiting 150 years for someone from Earth to find us. She led them into the settlement. It was beautiful. Humans and friendly aliens lived together in peace. Children played in the streets while their parents worked in gardens and workshops. It looked nothing like the violent pirate base Captain Park had expected. Commander Yoon, we received a distress call, someone speaking Korean. That was me, she said sadly. Captain, the coalition has been attacking us for months. They want our planets because of the valuable metals, but they can't just take them by force. That would make them look bad to the rest of the galaxy. So they're blaming you for attacking them? Yes. They attack their own colonies and make it look like we did it. Then they ask Earthfleet to help them defend themselves. Once your ships destroy us, they'll take our planets and no one will complain. Captain Park felt sick. Why didn't you contact Earth before? Commander Yoon looked sad. We tried. But the coalition controls all the communication channels in this part of space. Our messages never got through. Until now. An old man walked up to them. Captain, I am Chief Engineer Dong-Hyun Shin. I helped build New Busan when I was young. Let me show you something. He led them to a large building filled with computers and machines. This is our defense center. 3 days ago, coalition ships attacked the mining colony at Kepler 442b. But they did it while pretending to be us. He showed them recordings from their own sensors. Captain Park watched coalition ships change their appearance using holographic disguises. The ships that attacked the colony looked like Outer Rim vessels, but underneath the disguises they were coalition military ships. They killed those innocent people just to trick Earthfleet, said Engineer Shin. Lieutenant Lee was recording everything with her scanner. Captain, we need to get this evidence back to Earth Command. But before they could leave, alarms started ringing throughout the settlement. Commander Yoon's radio crackled with urgent voices. Coalition ships approaching, military formation, they've found the Earth shuttle. Captain Park looked out the window and saw 6 black coalition warships dropping from the sky. They were much bigger than his small shuttle. "Commander, can your people fight them?" he asked. "We have some defensive weapons, but not enough to stop a full coalition attack force." Then we run. Everyone to the shuttles. The next few minutes were chaos. Coalition ships fired bright beams of energy at the settlement. Buildings exploded and caught fire. People ran for safety while the defensive guns fired back. Captain Park's shuttle lifted off with Commander Yoon and several other settlers inside. Coalition fighters chased them through the atmosphere, shooting lasers that barely missed their ship. "Boram, get us to the Soul's Pride as fast as possible," Captain Park shouted. As they escaped into space, Captain Park looked back at New Busan. Smoke was rising from the beautiful settlement. These people had lived in peace for over a century. Now their homes were burning because they had told the truth to Earth. "Commander Yoon," he said, "I promise you this. Earth Fleet will know the truth. The Coalition will pay for what they've done." But Commander Yoon looked worried. "Captain, now they know that you know. They won't let you return to Earth with this evidence." She was right. As soon as Captain Park's shuttle docked with the Soul's Pride, Coalition ships surrounded them. High Chancellor Vexthara appeared on the main screen. Her blue face looked angry. "Captain Park, you have interfered with Coalition security operations. You will surrender your ship immediately." "I don't think so," Captain Park said. "Dr. Kim, send all our evidence to Earth Command. Full priority transmission." "Captain, Coalition ships are jamming our communications," Dr. Kim reported. "I can't get through." Vexthara smiled coldly. "Captain, you have learned something you should not have learned. Now you must face the consequences." More Coalition ships appeared around them. The Soul's Pride was surrounded by an entire battle fleet, but Captain Park was no longer the trusting human diplomat he had been a week ago. The Coalition had lied to him. They had used his people's honesty against them. They had killed innocent people and planned to kill more. For the first time in his life, Captain Hyunwoo Park felt something that humans rarely experienced: cold, calculating anger. "Dr. Kim," he said quietly, "activate the hidden transmitter. The One Earth Command told us never to use unless humanity itself was threatened." "Captain, that will send a signal to every human ship in the galaxy. It means war." Captain Park looked at the Coalition ships surrounding them. He thought about the burning settlement on Haven's Rest. He thought about the innocent people who died at the mining colony. He thought about the Arirang and how long the Korean survivors had waited for help. "Yes," he said, "it does mean war." The hidden transmitter sent its signal across the galaxy in seconds. Every human ship, every human colony, every human station received the same message. Code Red Phoenix. Humanity betrayed. Prepare for war. Captain Park had never seen humans move so fast. Within hours, ships were changing course from all over human space. The Earth Defense Fleet, which had been preparing to attack the Outer Rim territories, suddenly turned around and headed toward Captain Park's location. Admiral Taemin Choi appeared on the main screen of the Soul's Pride. Behind him, Captain Park could see the bridge of Earth's most powerful battleship, the Dokdo. The old admiral's face was harder than stone. "Captain Park, explain yourself. Your signal has put every human in the galaxy on war footing. Admiral, the Coalition has been lying to us for decades. They're the ones who attacked the mining colony. They're trying to use Earth Fleet to destroy innocent settlements so they can steal their resources." Captain Park quickly explained everything they had discovered. He showed Admiral Choi the evidence from New Busan, the recordings of Coalition, ships using holographic disguises, and the truth about the Arirang survivors. When he finished, Admiral Choi was quiet for a long minute. Other human officers gathered behind him, their faces showing the same shock and anger that Captain Park felt. "Admiral," came another voice on the communication channel. "This is Admiral Soonja Kang of the 5th Fleet. I've been monitoring Coalition communications. They're ordering all their ships to eliminate human presence in this sector." Admiral Choi's eyes became cold. "Admiral Kang, what is your assessment?" "Sir, I've run the data through our analysis computers. The Coalition has been manipulating us for at least 30 years. Every major conflict where they asked for human mediation was fake. They created the problems, then used our help to solve them in ways that benefited coalition interests. Captain Park felt sick. How many innocent people died because of our help? Thousands, said Admiral Kang. Maybe more. We've been their weapon, and we never knew it. High Chancellor Vexithara's face suddenly appeared on another screen. She looked angry, but also confident. Admiral Choi, your ship is violating Coalition space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. Admiral Choi stared at her for several seconds. Then he said something that would become famous throughout the galaxy. High Chancellor, humanity has served as peacekeeper for over a century. We have mediated your conflicts, rescued your people, and died protecting your interests. All because we trusted you to tell us the truth. You broke that trust. Now you will learn why the oldest rule in the galaxy exists. Never deceive the humans. Your threats mean nothing, Vexthara replied. Humans are weak. You cannot even lie to save yourselves. How can you fight a war? Dr. Yoonji Kim stepped forward on Captain Park's ship. High Chancellor, you made one terrible mistake. You assumed that because humans cannot lie easily, we cannot detect lies. You're wrong. More human ships appeared on the sensors. Not just military vessels, but civilian ships too. Merchants, miners, scientists, even tourist ships. They all came when they heard the Phoenix signal, and they all brought something the Coalition didn't expect. Admiral Choi, said Dr. Wu Jin Nam, appearing on a new communication channel. He was Earth's leading expert on military strategy and alien psychology. I've been analyzing Coalition behavior patterns for the past 6 hours. I have disturbing news. Go ahead, Doctor. Sir, the Coalition hasn't just been lying about recent events. They've been manipulating human psychology for decades. Every time they asked for our help, they studied how we reacted. They learned our weaknesses, our beliefs, our moral codes. Then they used that knowledge to make us do what they wanted. Captain, Park realized the horrible truth. They turned our greatest strength into a weapon against us. Yes, our honesty made other species trust us, but it also made us trust them. They knew exactly what lies to tell us to make us believe them. Admiral, Soonja Kang's face appeared on the screen again. Admirals, I have news that changes everything. I've been in contact with human colonies throughout the galaxy. Colonies we thought were lost or destroyed. Many of them are still alive. The Coalition told us they were attacked by pirates or destroyed by natural disasters. All lies. How many colonies? Admiral Choi asked. At least 47 that we know of, including the survivors from 12 colony ships that were reported lost. The Coalition has been hiding them, using them as slave labor in their mining operations. The Bridge of the Soul's Pride went silent. Captain Park thought about all the memorial services he had attended for lost colonists. All the families, who grieved for relatives they thought were dead. All lies. But Admiral Kang wasn't finished. Sir, there's more. The Coalition made a critical error when they decided to eliminate all humans. They attacked the families of our reconnaissance team. On Earth, Captain Park's blood turned to ice. What? General Krathmore ordered missile strikes on Seoul, thinking it would force us to surrender. The attacks were stopped by Earth's defense systems, but the intent was clear. They tried to kill our people's families. Admiral Choi's face became terrifying. How many casualties? None, sir. But only because our defenses worked. The Coalition tried to murder civilians to force our surrender. Something changed in that moment. Captain Park could feel it through every communication channel. The human fleet had been angry before. Now they were something much more dangerous. Dr. Nam spoke quietly. Admirals, we need to discuss the implications of this situation. For over a century, humanity has been the galaxy's peacekeeper because other species trusted our honesty. But that same honesty made us easy to manipulate. What are you suggesting, Doctor? Admiral Choi asked. I'm suggesting that we are no longer the same species we were yesterday. The Coalition has taught us to be suspicious. They have shown us that our trust can be weaponized against us. They have forced us to become something we never wanted to be. And what is that? The most dangerous species in the galaxy. Captain Mi Young-ju, commander of Earth Special Forces, joined the conversation. Admirals, my teams have been analyzing coalition military capabilities. They have superior numbers and firepower. In a direct military confrontation, they would probably win. Then how do we fight them? Admiral Kang asked. Captain Ju smiled grimly. We don't fight them the way they expect. We use their own tactics. Against them, we become what they fear most. Humans who have learned to be deceptive. Dr. Kim looked puzzled. But we can't lie effectively. It's not in our nature. Dr. Kim, you're wrong, said Dr. Nam. We can't lie to each other because we understand human psychology too well. But we understand alien psychology even better. We've been studying it for a century. We know exactly how to make other species believe what we want them to believe. Admiral Choi leaned forward. Explain. Sir, the Coalition's power comes from their ability to manipulate other species. They tell lies that make different alien races fight each other, but now we know their methods. We can expose every lie they've ever told. We can turn every species they've manipulated against them. Captain Park began to understand. We don't defeat them with weapons. We defeat them with truth. Exactly. And, Captain Park, your discovery of the Arirang survivors gives us the perfect starting point. The Coalition has been hiding human colonies, using them as slaves, and lying about their fate. When the galaxy learns this truth, it will change everything. High Chancellor Vexithara appeared on the screen again. This time she looked worried. Admiral Choi, I demand you withdraw your forces immediately. The Coalition will not tolerate human aggression. Admiral Choi stared at her calmly. High Chancellor, we are not being aggressive, we are being honest. For the first time in decades, humanity is telling the whole galaxy the complete truth about what you've done. Your threats? No threats, Admiral Choi interrupted. Just truth. Captain Park, begin broadcasting on all galactic frequencies. I want every species in the galaxy to see the evidence we've collected. Show them the recordings from New Busan. Show them how Coalition ships disguised themselves to attack their own colony. Show them the hidden human colonies. Show them everything. Captain Park smiled for the first time in days. Yes, sir, broadcasting, now. As the truth spread across the galaxy, something unprecedented happened. Species that had been enemies for generations began talking to each other. They compared their experiences with the Coalition and discovered they had all been manipulated in similar ways. The Zephyrians realized their war with the Nexus Empire had been started by false Coalition intelligence. The Nexus Empire discovered that Coalition peace negotiations had actually been designed to prolong the conflict. Dozens of other species found similar patterns. Within 6 hours, the Coalition was facing rebellions on half their worlds. High Chancellor Vexithara made one final transmission to the human fleet. Admiral Choi, you have doomed the galaxy to chaos. Without the Coalition to maintain order, there will be war everywhere. Admiral Choi's reply became legendary. High Chancellor, there was already war everywhere. You were just better at hiding it. Now, for the first time in decades, every species in the galaxy knows who their real enemy is. The human fleet moved forward, not to conquer, but to liberate. And for the first time since humanity had joined the galactic community, other species began to fear them. The war that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Humans didn't attack with massive fleets or planet-destroying weapons. Instead, they did something far more frightening. They started telling the truth everywhere at once. General Seok-ho Kim had studied alien psychology for 20 years. Now he used that knowledge to create the most effective military campaign in galactic history. He didn't destroy Coalition military bases. He destroyed their ability to lie. Captain Park, General Kim said during a strategy meeting on the Soul's Pride, I need you and Dr. Yoonji Kim to help me with something. We're going to turn the Coalition's greatest weapon against them. What weapon is that, sir? Captain Park asked. Their understanding of other species' psychology. They know exactly what lies to tell each alien race to make them fight each other. But we know the truth behind those lies, and we're going to share that truth with everyone. Dr. Kim pulled up a star map on the main screen. General, I've been analyzing coalition manipulation tactics for the past week. They use the same pattern everywhere. First, they identify natural tensions between different species. Then they create fake incidents that make those tensions worse. Finally, they offer to help solve the problem in ways that benefit them. Show me an example. The Helix Sector War. 20 years ago, the Torvan Republic and the Mishran Federation started fighting over mining rights. Both sides blamed each other for attacks on mining stations. The coalition mediated the peace talks and got mining rights to half the contested worlds. Captain Park studied the data. But the attacks were fake? All of them. Coalition ships disguised as Torvan vessels attacked Mishran stations. Coalition ships disguised as Mishran vessels attacked Torvan stations. Both sides thought the other was lying about their innocence. The war lasted 5 years and killed millions of people. General Kim nodded grimly. And now we're going to prove it. Dr. Kim, I want you to find every fake incident the coalition ever created. Every lie they told, every species they manipulated, every war they started. We're going to expose all of it at once. Sir, that will cause chaos across the galaxy. When species learn they were fighting fake wars, yes, it will cause chaos, but it will be chaos directed at the coalition, not at each other. While the humans gathered evidence, something else was happening that terrified coalition leadership. Human soldiers were appearing everywhere, seemingly out of nowhere. Commander Hai-Jin Park, Captain Park's sister, led the stealth operations. She had studied alien behavior her whole life, and now she used that knowledge to make humans nearly invisible. The coalition thinks they understand us, she told her team during a mission briefing. They think humans are predictable because we're honest, but they never realize that honesty makes us excellent at reading lies. Her team was preparing to infiltrate a coalition command center on the planet Zerion Prime. The mission seemed impossible. The base was surrounded by energy shields, guard towers, and sensors that could detect any approaching ship. But Commander Park had a different plan. We're not going to sneak past their defenses, she explained. We're going to walk through the front door. Her team stared at her. Ma'am, think about it. What do coalition guards expect to see? Other coalition members going about their business. So that's what we'll show them. Using advanced holographic disguises, the human team transformed themselves into perfect copies of coalition officers. But the real trick wasn't the technology. It was psychological. Remember, Commander Park said, we're not pretending to be coalition officers. We're pretending to be coalition officers who are pretending to be loyal while secretly planning rebellion. Act slightly nervous like you're hiding something small. That's exactly how real coalition officers behave these days. The plan worked perfectly. The guards let them pass without question because their behavior matched what every coalition member was feeling, fear that their own people might betray them. Once inside, the human team didn't steal weapons or destroy computers. Instead, they did something much more damaging. They accessed the coalition's central communication system and began broadcasting the truth to every coalition world simultaneously. On the planet Nexar, Nexarian civilians learned that their 30-year war with AI, the Krell Empire, had been started by fake coalition intelligence. On Krell worlds, the Krell learned the same thing. Within hours, both species were demanding answers from their governments. On Zephyr Prime, the Zephyrians discovered that the terrorist attacks that had killed thousands of their people were actually carried out by coalition special forces. The attacks had been designed to make the Zephyrians support stronger coalition military presence in their space. Across the galaxy, similar revelations spread like wildfire. The Mishran Federation learned that their trade wars with neighboring species were based on fabricated economic data. The Torvan Republic discovered that their ancient enemy, the Kaleth Collective, had never actually committed any of the crimes the coalition blamed them for. But the most shocking discovery came when humans found the secret coalition archives on the planet Korthax. Dr. Youngmin Lee, the weapons research director, led the team that cracked the archive's security. What they found inside made even hardened soldiers feel sick. Admiral Choi, Dr. Lee reported via secure transmission. You need to see this. The coalition has files on every species in the galaxy. Detailed psychological profiles, weakness assessments, manipulation strategies. They've been planning conflicts decades in advance. Show me. Dr. Lee transmitted a coalition file labeled Human Exploitation Strategy, Phase 1 through Phase 5. Admiral Choi read it with growing horror. Phase 1. Establish trust by requesting human mediation in genuine conflicts. Phase 2. Create false conflicts and request human mediation to test manipulation techniques. Phase 3. Use human reputation for honesty to legitimize coalition territorial expansion. Phase 4. Gradually increase human dependence on coalition information and support. Phase 5. Eliminate human independence and integrate Earth systems into coalition control. Admiral, Dr. Lee continued. According to this document, we're currently in Phase 4. Phase 5 was scheduled to begin next year. Admiral Choi felt cold anger filling his chest. What was Phase 5 supposed to involve? Sir, they were going to stage a fake alien invasion of Earth. During the crisis, they would offer to help evacuate human civilians to safe coalition worlds. Once most of humanity was scattered across their territory, they would reveal that the invasion was fake and that humans were now effectively prisoners. The transmission was being monitored by human commanders throughout the galaxy. Captain Park heard several of them curse in languages he didn't recognize. Dr. Lee, Admiral Choi said quietly, transmit that file to every species in the galaxy. All of it. I want them to see exactly how the Coalition planned to manipulate them too. Sir, the Coalition has similar manipulation plans for every major species. If we release all of this information at once, do it. The release of the Coalition archives caused exactly what Dr. Lee had predicted, complete chaos. But it was chaos with a purpose. Every species that had ever worked with the Coalition now knew exactly how they had been manipulated. The Torvan Republic immediately declared war on the Coalition. The Mishran Federation joined them. Within days, the Zephyrian Alliance, the Nexus Empire, the Krell Hegemony, and dozens of smaller governments had formed a united front against their former allies. High Chancellor Vexithara made one last desperate attempt to maintain control. She contacted Admiral Choi directly, her blue face showing fear for the first time. Admiral, you don't understand what you've done. The Coalition maintained peace in the galaxy for 2 centuries. Without us, there will be nothing but war and chaos. Admiral Choi looked at her calmly. High Chancellor, you didn't maintain peace. You maintained the illusion of peace while secretly causing most of the conflicts in the galaxy. Real peace requires trust. And trust requires truth. You've doomed billions of people to war. No. We've given billions of people the chance to choose their own future, instead of living the future you chose for them. General Krathmore appeared beside Vexthara, on the screen. Admiral, the Coalition military still has superior firepower. If you force us to fight, we will destroy every human world in the galaxy. Admiral Choi smiled grimly. General, you're assuming we'll fight you the way you expect. But humans have learned something important from this conflict. The most powerful weapon in the galaxy isn't a ship or a bomb, it's information. What do you mean? I mean your own forces are reading the archives too. Right now, Coalition soldiers on every world are learning how their leaders manipulated them into fighting wars for resources that made the leadership rich, while common soldiers died. How do you think they feel about that? General Krathmore's face changed. In the background, alarms began ringing on the Coalition command ship. Sir, came a voice from off-screen. We're receiving reports of mutinies on 47 Coalition vessels. The crews are refusing orders and demanding to see the archive files. And General, Admiral Choi continued, your civilian populations are learning how you used them as test subjects for psychological manipulation experiments. How you started wars that killed their families just to see if your theories about alien behavior were correct. How do you think they feel about that? 6 months after the Coalition's collapse, the galaxy was a very different place. Captain Hyunwoo Park stood on the bridge of the Soul's Pride and looked out at a sight that would have been impossible a year ago. Ships from dozens of different species flying together in peaceful formation. Captain, Lieutenant Bo-Ram Lee said from her station, we're receiving a message from President In-Ho Choi on Earth. He wants to speak with you about the ceremony tomorrow." Captain Park smiled. Tomorrow would mark the official signing of the year Soul Accords, the new treaty that would govern relationships between all the species in the galaxy. It was named after the city that had almost been destroyed by Coalition missiles, and it was built on a simple principle. No government could make decisions affecting other species without complete transparency. President Choi appeared on the main screen. He was a younger man than the old admirals, elected after the Coalition War ended. His first act as president had been to create the Department of Interspecies Truth, led by Dr. Yoonji Kim. "Captain Park," President Choi said, "I wanted to thank you personally before tomorrow's ceremony. Without your discovery of the truth, none of this would have been possible." "Mr. President, I was just doing my job." "No, Captain, you did much more than that. When you sent that Phoenix signal, you didn't just call for help. You told humanity to stop trusting and start thinking. That changed us forever." It was true. Humans were no longer the naive peacekeepers they had been before the war. They were still honest, but now they were also careful. They checked facts, questioned motives, and demanded proof. Other species had learned to do the same. "Captain," came another voice on the communication channel. This was Commander Jin A-yoon, calling from New Busan. The settlement had been rebuilt bigger and more beautiful than before. "The Outer Rim representatives are ready for tomorrow's ceremony. We're honored that New Busan was chosen as one of the signing locations. The Soul Accords would be signed simultaneously on Earth, New Busan, and the homeworlds of 12 other species." It was symbolic. No single world would control the new galactic government. "Commander Yoon," Captain Park said, "how are the new settlers adapting?" "Wonderfully. We now have families from 43 different species living in New Busan. The children are already learning each other's languages. In 10 years, this will be the most culturally diverse world in the galaxy." That had been one of the most positive changes after the Coalition's fall. Species that had been manipulated into fighting each other for decades were now working together. They shared technology, culture, and friendship instead of suspicion and hatred. Dr. Kim joined the conversation. From her new office on Earth, "Captain, the Truth Verification Centers are reporting excellent results. In the past month, we've prevented 17 potential conflicts by exposing false information before it could cause problems." The Truth Verification Centers were one of humanity's contributions to the new galactic order. Using both human psychology experts and advanced computers, they could detect lies and manipulation attempts with incredible accuracy. Every major diplomatic communication now went through these centers before being shared with other governments. "Any word from the trials?" Captain Park asked. Dr. Kim's face became serious. High Chancellor Vexithara was found guilty on all counts. The sentence was exile to Monitoring Station Alpha. She'll spend the rest of her life there with every word she speaks recorded and analyzed for truth. The trials of Coalition leadership had been the most watched legal proceedings in galactic history. But instead of executing the guilty parties, the new galactic government had chosen a different punishment: complete isolation combined with constant truth monitoring. It was considered a fate worse than death for species that had built their power on lies. "What about General Crathmore?" He accepted the exile sentence as well, but Captain, he said something interesting during his final statement. He claimed that humanity would eventually become just as corrupt as the Coalition. That power always corrupts no matter who holds it. Captain Park thought about that. It was possible that General Crathmore was right. But humanity had learned something from the Coalition's mistakes. Power shared was harder to corrupt than power concentrated. "Dr. Kim, that's why we built the new system the way we did. No single species controls anything. Every decision requires agreement from multiple worlds." "I hope you're right, Captain." Admiral Soonja Kang joined the conversation from her flagship. She now commanded the United Defense Fleet, which included ships from every major species in the galaxy. "Captain Park, I have good news. The last Coalition holdouts on Sector 7 have surrendered. The war is officially over." That was another change. The new galactic government didn't conquer territories. When coalition forces refused to surrender, the United Fleet simply surrounded them and waited. They broadcast the truth about coalition crimes continuously until the enemy soldiers either surrendered or mutinied against their own officers. It took longer than direct military assault, but it resulted in almost no casualties. Admiral, what will happen to the former coalition worlds? Most of them are joining the new Galactic Confederation. A few want to remain independent, and we're respecting that choice. The important thing is that they're free to choose their own future now. Ambassador Su Jin-Yu contacted them from the new Galactic Council headquarters on the neutral world of Harmony Station. She had been chosen as humanity's first representative to the new government. Captain Park, I wanted you to know that the Torvan Republic just announced something wonderful. They're establishing a joint colony with the Mishran Federation. Two species that were enemies for decades are now planning to raise their children together. That had been happening throughout the galaxy. The Zephyrian Alliance and the Nexus Empire had ended their ancient war and were now sharing technology to rebuild the worlds damaged by coalition manipulation. The Krell hegemony had opened their borders to refugees from other wars, offering them new homes and citizenship. Ambassador, any problems with the new system? Some growing pains. The Kresh Collective is still suspicious of everyone, but they're participating in the council meetings. The Valdari Empire wants special privileges because they're older than most species, but they're learning to negotiate like everyone else. Overall, it's working better than anyone expected. Captain Mi Young-ju contacted them from her new position as head of the Interspecies Truth Corps. Her job was to investigate reports of deception or manipulation anywhere in the galaxy. Captain Park, I have an interesting report. A previously unknown species called the Nethek just made contact with us. They want to join the Galactic Confederation, but they're worried because their culture is based on elaborate storytelling that might be considered lies. Captain Park laughed. What did you tell them? That there's a big difference between telling stories for entertainment and telling lies to manipulate people. We invited them to send representatives to the next council meeting. Their stories might be exactly what the galaxy needs to heal from all the lies we've been told. As the conversations ended, Captain Park looked around the bridge of the Soul's Pride. Lieutenant Lee was still at her communication station, but now she monitored channels in 47 different languages. Dr. Kim had returned from her meeting to continue her research into interspecies psychology. The crew was the same, but their mission had changed completely. They were no longer just peacekeepers. They were truth guardians. Captain, Lieutenant Lee said, we're receiving a priority message from Earth Command. Admiral Kyung-Soo Han wants to speak with you. Admiral Han appeared on the screen. He was the new commander of the Terran Alliance Fleet, the military force that protected human interests while supporting the new galactic government. Captain Park, I have your new orders. There's a situation developing in the Rim territories. A species called the Yith claims that their neighbors, the Kraleks, are planning to attack them. The Kraleks say the Yith are lying and planning to attack first. Both sides want us to mediate. Captain Park felt familiar excitement. This was the kind of work he had always loved. Solving problems, finding truth, helping species understand each other. But now he approached it differently. Instead of automatically believing both sides were honest, he would investigate carefully. He would check facts, verify claims, and look for hidden motives. Admiral, do we have any background information on either species? Dr. Nam's team has been researching them. Both species were manipulated by the Coalition in the past. The Yith were told that the Kraleks were planning to enslave them. The Kraleks were told that the Yith wanted to steal their technology. They've been enemies for 50 years because of Coalition lies, so they might both be telling the truth as they understand it. Exactly. Your job is to help them see that their old information was false. Show them the Coalition archives that prove how they were manipulated. Help them choose a new path forward. Captain Park smiled. Admiral, it will be an honor. Captain, there's one more thing. This mission comes with a special request. The Korean community on New Busan wants to send a cultural exchange team with you. They think their experience of building peace between different groups might be helpful. I'd welcome their help, as the Soul's Pride prepared for its new mission.